in the Joker when he's like at the comedy club and he's like laughing at all the wrong moments.
Everyone's quiet.
I felt like I was that person in the screening. Because then there were other beats that like people actually laughed at, and I was like,
yeah,
that was fucking stupid.
Initiating weekly entertainment brought to you by Extra Rad. Boys Meet Film will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy.
Welcome to Boys Meet Film. My name is Michael.
My name is Kellen.
And today we're going to be talking about Flight Risk, the latest movie by Mel Gibson, starring Mark Wahlberg, Topher Grace, and Michelle Dockery. The film follows a pilot who transports an air marshal accompanying a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
First thoughts, Kellen. Actually, I just want to address the elephant in the room. That is that we're recording on an awful camera right now. And I just want to point out that I think this is the perfect film to have poor video quality on.
Yes.
Because it's very reflective of the quality of the film we just watched.
Yes, we're in a hotel room right now, and this is the perfect movie to put on when you're at a hotel and it just happens to be on one of their local channels.
This would be a great plane movie as well. Don't you agree?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, no, I would feel comfortable watching this in a plane.
Yeah.
If I saw a bald man down the aisle watching this on the back of somebody's seat, I think I'd feel right at home.
I'm pretty speechless because last week I thought we were ripping on Wolfman.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like we're gonna have to go harder on this one. This made Wolfman look like the Godfather, dude.
I don't know. It was there's an art to making bad movies.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. This is a bad movie. But it's a different kind of bad. Wolfman was laughably bad because it tried very hard to explore some like deep concepts in a very shallow way. Mm-hmm. Whereas Flight Risk didn't bother with that at all. This film really didn't bother with any sort of deeper concept that can be explored, especially in the characters. Can't wait to talk about that later on.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Wolfman was trying very hard to be a good film, and there were glimpses in it that were really good. This movie, I'm struggling to figure out whether there is an attempt to actually make a good movie here or not. Because, okay, I mean, I feel like we have to talk about Mel Gibson first.
Oh,
very controversial person.
Yep. He hates a lot of groups of people.
Yeah. Hasn't done great things in the past. I will say a lot of people are advocating for him lately, though. Yeah. Mainly like Andrew Garfield. Said that he's changed, and I do believe in second chances, but this guy is fucking off. There's something about him that's just off.
There's
out of touch.
There was a deadbolt just like cinching together his personality and his ego that has long since been blown off the hinges.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of those people who just like, there's no coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's done his crazy time. And to his credit, he's done great things in the past. Braveheart, to name one.
Yeah.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
I remember watching that with my buddy Bryson, and we both cried.
Yeah, say what you will.
Yeah.
What you believe in, whatever. It is a really well done movie.
Yes.
Also, Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, Hacksaw Ridge?
Yeah.
That was Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
No way.
That was Mel Gibson after being canceled. That was his return
Whoa.
to film, which I believe got like 6 Oscar nominations, including Best Director for Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I mean, I wasn't, I wasn't a huge super fan, but I could appreciate a lot about that movie.
I remember when I saw it, I really liked it. When I say really liked it, like I had a good time watching it, and I thought it was made very well. I don't think it like transcended, film or anything like that, but it was a really good movie.
It was a good story.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting to go from Hacksaw Ridge to this.
So that's what I wanted to bring up. I mean, just watching the trailer, like we knew what we were in for going into this, but part of me was wondering if this was gonna I don't know, something was gonna be different, and it was gonna actually be a good movie. Like there was gonna be a plot twist that this was a good movie.
Yeah, I think something was different.
Yeah.
and not in the sense of it being a good movie, but do we know who wrote this? Who wrote the screenplay for this film?
Let me look it up. I know it wasn't Mel Gibson.
Because without giving anything away, there's one character in this film that okay, to preface this, I like messed up movies.
Yeah.
Okay, I like messed up characters.
Mm-hmm.
I love Hereditary.
Yeah.
And I love anything Ari Aster does.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree, there are a lot of Philip Seymour Hoffman films that are especially deranged.
Yeah, dipping into the darkest canals of the human psyche.
Exactly. And that right there is an exploration of that through a character.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you have a character that says and does things that are extremely off-putting,
yeah,
but iconoclastic in the sense that they don't explore that, they only serve as a function.
It's like when you're in 3rd grade and you say a bad word for your first time,
mm-hmm.
and then you kind of test it out on your parents. You say shit fuck in a sentence for the first time, and then you get the shit beaten out of you. That was Mark Wahlberg in this movie.
Yeah, man. I think I just felt uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but not in a suspenseful way, or maybe it was intentional.
It was really cringy.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of this film was really cringy.
Yeah, but especially Mark Wahlberg's character. It was written by Jared Rosenberg, by the way.
Okay. What else has he done? Anything notable?
Nothing. No, he was an editor. No, this is his first writing credit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. I want to give the guy some slack because it's his first film, but also, man, the writing was not good.
Well, I mean, I almost want to disagree.
Really?
Controversial moment. Uh-oh. So
let me hear your opinion.
So my opinion is the dialogue was terrible.
Yeah.
The characters were pretty shallow. Their backstories were delivered in just like really corny ways. Like it really felt like this guy kind of hit a wall with some of these. He's like, I gotta go deeper, but like, this is a restrictive narrative. They're stuck in a plane. How can I deliver this? How can I like meet my goal?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just have to do it. Maybe I just have to throw it out there. However, this plot was, to his credit, there was effort put into the layering,
Yeah.
the reversals, and our twists.
I can agree with you there. As far as like an overall plot, it was intriguing, and I mean that's what sold me on even seeing the movie.
Well, I just wanted to see Mark Wahlberg bald.
Sure, yeah, yeah. That's the cherry on top for me. But yeah, I guess what I mean by writing is like obviously the dialogue was terrible.
Yes.
And there were also just so many cliches. It was like unbearable how many cliches there were in this movie.
Yeah.
But I had a really fun time watching it.
Oh yeah.
Like this was more fun to me than Wolfman.
Really?
Yeah. I think Wolfman was really fun because we were with the boys, and it was just funny. Some of the scenes, but this one was like undeniably like if I watched this by myself, I would be laughing the whole time.
True.
And honestly, we kind of were the only people laughing. It felt like in the Joker when he's like at the comedy club and he's like laughing at all the wrong moments.
Everyone's quiet.
I felt like I was that person in the screening.
Yeah.
Because then there were other beats that like people actually laughed at, and I was like,
yeah,
that was fucking stupid.
The people in the theater with us, and mind you, this wasn't a packed theater by any means, but there was a good handful of people in there, and they were laughing at some of the corniest, like cafeteria slop jokes.
Yeah.
That they were getting chuckles left and right, and it was like the dumbest jokes, eye rollers for us. But for other people, I was like, oh, damn.
It was a strange group of people.
It was a strange group because, like, towards the end as well, a lot of people were talking.
Yeah.
A lot of people were, like, just talking amongst each other during the ending of the film.
Strange.
In the third act.
I also, like, I don't know. I felt like for the first time I was the rude person in the movie. Because I couldn't help myself but laugh at some scenes, and no one else was laughing.
Did you see that guy turn back and look at you?
Really?
Yeah, there's a guy laying down. We had the specialty recliner leather seats. Awesome stuff. But this guy was laying back, and he, like, looked back at you when you were laughing, and then, like, came back and, like, was, like, uncomfortable and was adjusting himself. And I, like, saw it all go down, and I was like, oh, man. Like, I wonder if somebody's going to say something like, hey, shut up. We're here to see Mark. We love Mel Gibson. And we're getting paid good money to come here.
Yeah, it was probably a Mel Gibson stan or something.
Yeah.
But good, because this movie should not have been... Honestly, if anybody's taking this movie seriously and they're enjoying it, that is a hazard on society.
They're what's wrong with America.
Yeah. I want to bring something else up just before we get into the movie. Okay. Have you heard the news about Trump and his special cabinet that he's making to save Hollywood?
What?
Yeah.
What is his special cabinet?
Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone,
what?
And John Voight.
What? What is this cabinet doing?
They're saving Hollywood.
Okay.
And this was a great entry into that cabinet saving Hollywood.
What does that even mean?
Dude, I don't know. I didn't really read the article. I just saw the headline saying that he was appointing a special cabinet to save Hollywood, and those were the 3 members of the cabinet.
Are they gonna fight liberal wokeness?
I think that's what the point
They're
was.
just gonna push out a bunch of movies that say the F word
and the N word. Probably.
This is what people want.
Okay, well, and that's a great tie-in to this quote that I feel like we have to bring up. All right, we'll with it. So, this is a fun fact. According to Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg improvised much of his character's dialogue, explaining, and this is a quote, Mark's got a good... don't
do the voice.
Mark's got a good dark side he takes stuff from. Every now and again, he'd let it out, and I can't even repeat some of the stuff he'd say. In fact, we had to cut most of it out. It was, like, really sick, but we hint at it. End quote. Do you think Mark Wahlberg said the N-word in this movie?
Dude, I have 2 things to say about that. I think that was just Mark Wahlberg being himself. I think...
yeah, a nasty little bald man.
It's a nasty, balding Bostonian who just like...
The balding Bostonian.
Okay. Can I just, like, talk about his character a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to be a spoiler? So you know what I'm going to talk about.
Listen, guys, this is a different type of episode. If you're watching this episode and you're planning on seeing this movie and you want to avoid spoilers, this probably isn't the podcast for you. You know what? Fuck it. Let's talk about who this film's for, and then let's just get into it.
All right.
Who do you think this film's for?
I know exactly who this film is for.
Can we say it at the same time?
Okay, on 3?
Because I think we can do it.
Okay, maybe. All right.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
January 6th rioters.
Ooh.
No.
I was gonna say racist Bostonians.
Oh, okay.
Which, you know,
there's probably a little crossover.
There's probably a couple in there. Yeah.
I think, like, on a serious note, you will really enjoy this if you like bad movies and you like laughing at Mark Wahlberg specifically, which I think is kind of sad because I think he, like, has the range and ability to be a good actor, but also just historically he has been in some god awful movies.
He hangs out with a bad crowd.
Yeah,
that was apparent in this movie.
Yeah,
an odd choice to make him like a very fervent rapist.
Yeah,
and like the whole time, like threatening to rape everyone in the plane.
That's a good little teaser to go into our spoilers, which we're gonna get into now.
This is a spoiler warning. Consider yourself warned.
Okay, so yeah, he's a rapist.
so he's a rapist. And what I found was funny was like it was revealed that he, like, immediately after his hat was ripped off and his toupee was ripped off and it was revealed that he's bald.
Yeah.
It was immediately after that he began to talk about rape.
Yeah.
And like Mark Wahlberg's choice, like the you know, that quote was like, yeah, like, you know, he wasn't supposed to be bald in the script, but like Mark was really pushing for it. Yeah. Mark Wahlberg is like, how can I look like a rapist? I gotta be bald.
Well, the other thing about that was so strange. It's just it's the strangest character choice ever.
Yeah.
2, Mark Wahlberg suggested it for his character. but he also refused to wear a bald cap, so he actually shaved his head to look like that.
Which was frustrating because you could see his
Yes!
hairline.
You could see the stubble.
You could see where he shaved his head.
And it looked weird.
It did look weird.
It didn't look natural.
No, it didn't look like he went too bald.
Yeah.
He did too much. Like I don't think I've ever seen a bald man with like that much crown.
Yeah.
Or like a crown like that. You know what I mean?
And he had the weird little like bridge trail
Yeah.
going across his head.
He had like hair sticking up, you know, it looked unnatural.
Very weird choice.
Yeah, very odd. And also the fact that he was improvising a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. So, we did arrive to the movie slightly late.
True.
I think we might have missed like the first 2 minutes or something.
We
which
definitely did.
didn't really seem to... I doubt there's anything groundbreaking that we missed, but do you think there is the slightest chance that we missed like the most crucial piece of context ever and that this movie was good?
That's a fantastic question.
Do you think that's why that guy looked back at me?
Like, what? Yeah, like everybody's like, this is obviously an Oscar nominee.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting here taking a big dookie on it. Yeah. I mean, what would even be, the foreshadowing to make this film great? The ending was poor.
Maybe Mark Wahlberg like broke out of jail.
Yeah, maybe there was like a really sick Mark Wahlberg sequence.
There's like a lot of thunder and lightning. He was just laughing the whole time he escaped.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, to tell you the truth, if I was to take a guess, it would be Topher Grace was just like, based on context, was, maybe
Mining
struggling.
Bitcoin or
Yeah,
something.
he's like struggling to mine Bitcoin, but he has like poor internet connection. And he's the whole time he's complaining like, fucking Alaska. Like, oh, I hate it here. Oh, it's,
Yeah.
it's not the city. Yeah, I don't.
I have a feeling, and people who watch the full film will know this, but if we watch it again, that's probably exactly what happened. Yeah. But okay, what was the first moment that you knew what this movie was gonna be?
A steaming pile of bad movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think unfortunately for me it's Topher Grace.
Yeah.
His character was unbearable. Probably until the end when he was bleeding out and finally started to shut up. That was when I was like, all right, I kind of like.
Yeah.
Like
there was
more.
a shift as soon as he started losing blood and consciousness. He was a pretty solid guy.
And it's unfortunate because it makes you think like if the whole movie could have been more like that,
Yeah.
it would have been better. But there are a lot of like he was an archetype. He was like the annoying nerd.
Well, I think a really big problem to me is that he and Mark Wahlberg were clashing because they were both very just like outwardly annoying, trying to be funny guys.
Yeah.
And neither of them were landing. I think it could have been funny if one of them was doing that and, their jokes didn't land, then it would kind of come off ironic. But the fact that, like, I felt bad for this woman.
Yeah.
It felt like a mom driving 2 kids back to the house after a soccer game, and both of them wanted McDonald's, but they can't afford McDonald's,
And they're both bad kids, and she knows it, but she's in denial about it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you boys. I'm a rapist, Mom.
Behave. Yeah.
Yeah.
It, fuck. It was so fucking annoying.
So annoying. Like he kept trying to be comedic relief, but it was just like way too consistent
Yeah.
and just way too corny and dumb and just
Well, now that you bring up comedic relief, I think like separate from Topher and from Mark, there were other elements that they like try to include into the movie that were supposed to be comedic relief that like there are just too many things clashing with each other. Like the guy on the phone with her that, is like the pilot helping her or whatever.
oh yeah.
That was hitting on her the whole time.
Fantabulous.
Yeah.
He was like the Indian tech support
Yeah.
over the phone. That's a little racially charged. I apologize, but they definitely did lay it on thick.
Yeah. I mean, they did it intently.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's a good decision or not, I'm not the person to speak on that.
Yeah.
It was very annoying though, in my opinion. I feel like towards the end, I chuckled, but it wasn't that funny.
I think to some extent I appreciated, I mean, perhaps in a real life scenario, they would be more matter of fact. But for this pilot to, be like communicate upliftingly,
Yeah.
and in a positive way, like, of course, everybody's panicking on board.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a very calm guy who's like cracking jokes, then he can kind of be like, oh, okay, like, well, maybe this isn't life or death, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. But what I didn't appreciate was there was no character resolution for him in the end. He had
That's
like,
true.
how many seconds of screen time do you think that guy had?
Yeah, he had like 5 seconds, and then
Yeah.
she immediately.
And then there was that like double agent guy who was like staring at her the whole time and like closed the doors,
He was
That
acting like so sus.
he was so if he would have just not acted like that,
Yeah,
he would have gotten away with that.
he was he did an awful job
It was
at his
just
job.
there's so many things that were just like they were hammering you over the head with these
Yeah.
like jokes and like, look at this guy, he's sketchy.
Yeah, it was like caricatures of characters.
It was a caricature of a movie.
Yeah,
Did you notice that like a lot of the wides of the plane flying through the Alaskan wilderness, they had an opportunity to get some really cool shots.
yeah,
Like camera on the wheel, maybe on the wing of the plane or like on the fin in the back or like, even like a head on or from behind. No, it was always right to left or left to right. And
Yeah.
it did not give you any sort of like any great sense of scale.
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming this was shot with a pretty low budget since it was all in the plane.
Yeah, which, kudos.
And the background in the plane was definitely a green screen.
Yeah.
There are some terrible green screen moments in this movie. There is when they're like about to hit that mountain
Oh,
and
yeah.
they have to pull up, dude.
Yeah.
That there's something about that sequence that just screamed like almost like AI. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was bad. And can we talk about the physics of the plane?
Yeah, go for it.
Movie physics are important because I hate to break it to you, filmmakers, people are noticing. People are going to pay attention to that sort of thing. First of all, when they were in that downward dive,
Oh,
so, I mean, I'm not a pilot, but even I know that, like, if you're going to dive down in a plane or, like, drastically lose altitude, shit's going to, like, float up, I mean, they were, like, going straight down. You're
Yeah.
going to be experiencing near, like, zero gravity.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, be, like, things are going to, like, fly into the back of the plane. I don't know. Maybe there's some pilots out there who can explain that to me, but my problem was that he had her pushed up against the control panel and she was struggling to like get him off of her where like gravity would have helped her out.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then in the scene's own laws of physics, then she, after struggling for quite a bit, was
Quite a
able to
bit.
push him off,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense because if the physics were that, I'm assuming he was like, I don't know, 180 pounds or something. 180 pounds on top of you while you're going straight down,
Mm-hmm.
that would be impossible to push off of you in these physics, in the film's physics.
In the film's physics.
In real life, you're right. The zero gravity would be at her advantage.
Yeah.
But in the film's physics, she's being nailed down onto the steering or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It made no sense. And when she pushed him, he flew.
Mm-hmm.
But not in a zero gravity type of way. In a I bench 300 every week.
It was
kinda
like
way.
she squats like 450 pounds.
Yeah.
And those same physics in that same scene, when Topher Grace noticed what was it? Now he picked up the ID badge of the original pilot,
Mm-hmm.
who was not Mark Wahlberg, who Mark Wahlberg was pretending to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed this, but when he pulled the thing up off the ground, underneath it was the knife.
Really?
And that knife had stayed there the whole time after they had gone in in a dive and they've been jostling around. That
You're
knife
right.
was stuck there. Lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could remember some of the lines in this movie because there are just so many bad lines. Some really charged lines.
Yeah.
Some terrible trying to be emotional dialogue.
Oh, when she was talking, and I forget her name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Our agent, she was explaining her backstory. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Was this the scene that the guy looked back at me during?
Ooh, yeah, I think it was.
Because I could understand why.
I think he was connecting.
Yeah, I
And-
think he was trying to connect.
Yeah.
And I was so just out. He was trying to connect the Na'vi in Avatar to the trees. And I was the guy chopping those trees down.
Yeah. You were the pompous American looking for unobtainium.
Go ahead, dude. Just describe her backstory because
So Mark Wahlberg called her out. He's trying to get into their heads because he's handcuffed to the back of the plane. There were a lot of back and forths like this where he gets free from something and then attacks our agent protagonist.
And the more he gets cuffed, the hornier he gets.
Yeah. Oh my God. He got so horned up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So he calls her out. He's like, oh yeah, this is why they don't trust you with prisoners. Cause your last one died. You killed him. You killed him, right? and so she's forced to explain this to Topher Grace. And it's just the classic head-on shot as she's piloting the plane. She looks off, she gazes wistfully into the distance and says, "It was 2 years ago when I was assigned to a kidnapping case. And I had, one of our unsubs or whatever. We were in a motel room for 3 days. And finally, she just wanted one moment of privacy to take a shower. So I shackled her to the tub and let her have it. But what I didn't expect was one of the cartel agents threw a Molotov through the window. All I remember is burning smoke and flame." And she starts to choke up a little bit. She's like, "And I just remember running."
the picture that was painted in my head was so vividly funny.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say it. I know they were trying to have a moment, but I'm just like, it made no sense. It was too random for it to like, for me to connect to that emotionally. Plus, I also like, Mark Wahlberg has so much context on this woman, and yet the only file that he, first of all, I don't know why he has files of her on the plane.
Oh yeah,
that was fucking stupid.
He brought like printed out JPEGs.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Of like all the things, like it was like pictures of her and then Topher Grace and then Topher Grace's character's parents' house.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, that's you. Oh, that's me. Wait a second. That's my parents' house.
That's my mom.
That's my mom."
Yeah, well, and just from experience, like it looked like a third grader who like tried to copy and paste JPEGs in like Microsoft Word.
They were cutouts. He took the time to like cut it out with scissors.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And so somehow he had like, I don't know, just insider knowledge on this woman.
Yeah. Well,
so corny.
I mean, somehow it turned out that our agent's boss was the guy behind like this whole operation. He was the true villain who we never saw.
No, and by the way, it wasn't Mel Gibson.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it sounds so much like Mel Gibson.
Sounds exactly like him. Like, especially like there was a moment where he like got angry and like kind of lost it a little bit.
The racially charged thing at the end.
Yeah.
What did he say? He was like, "I'm going to deport you back to Bolivia." Oh, yeah. Or something.
That's right. He's like, "God damn it, Habib! I'm going to deport you back to Bolivia." Yeah.
Wild.
It was like you didn't need to put that in there. And like, was that comedic?
No,
because like
wasn't
it an attempt?
I don't know.
Because like, why?
I feel like this is this is how I would interpret it. Like if we interviewed Mel Gibson, which if we got the opportunity, dude.
Mel Gibson, if you're watching this, man, we'll put in a good word for you.
I can't promise that. But I think how he would explain it is that characters are allowed to be flawed and, you know, the dark, deep canals of human psyche and all this shit.
The woke left are trying to control our characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like unnecessary.
Yeah.
In a funny way. I'll give it to him. It was hilarious, but in a bad way. Like, in a way where I'm like, man, this is so tone deaf.
Dude, there were some punch zooms during, like, the landing that were hilarious.
Okay. The landing scene?
Dude.
Amazing.
You think so?
Yes.
Whoa.
No, in a, like, it was awful.
Oh, right.
But, like,
I forgot we hate this movie.
Come on, man. It was so funny.
It was hilarious.
That was one of the best, worst scenes I've ever seen.
For bad movies, that was a great bad ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, the ambulances and fire trucks, as soon as the plane started touching down and skipping around, it was like they had the cliche like pull in from all different directions, file in, and like come in for a sick shot on the runway.
Yeah.
Head on to camera. And I mean, you know, again, I'm no pilot, but like you're not going to have a bunch of vehicles chasing that plane. There's a bunch of debris that shot off tires, pieces of like fragments of the wings, you know, that like launched
past.
back and like hit fire trucks and like caused them to like, you know, skirt out. That was weird.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. I don't think that was realistic. I also thought it was really funny. There is earlier in the movie, there is a point where this agent, I forget her name, but she was ready to shoot Mark Wahlberg in the face. And he has this whole monologue about how if you shoot me in the face right now, this whole plane is going down.
You're going to hit the fuel line.
Yeah.
You can't hit me.
You're
Go
gonna
right.
Yeah. It made no sense. But then at the end, during the landing, Mark Wahlberg rips his fucking handcuffs off.
Oh.
Ripping his skin off. He breaks his thumb.
And he broke it the wrong way. By the
Yeah, I
he
noticed
broke
that
it
too.
backwards. So, like, what they didn't show you off camera is he had to break it back the other way in order to, like, get it through the handcuffs. That was another tone deaf, like, issue.
Dude, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
The skin ripping off in the cuff, that was good. That got me.
That was gnarly. That definitely made me squeamish. But he rips off his handcuffs and he goes over for one last attempt to, foil the plans here. And she grabs her gun and she just fucking caps him like 5 times.
Yeah, she unloads into this guy. She shoots him in the stomach. He falls back. She's like, oh, fuck. And she just, like, turns back over the seat and just unloads towards the direction of the fuel lines.
No, exactly. I mean, it was awesome. It was hilarious, but it's just like another example of the rules not ruling, But anyway, so then they land. My favorite part of the movie is Mark Wahlberg is just like hanging on to a rail or something that. And the side of the plane is open and he's trying for dear life to just hold on and he gets fucking sucked out.
And they had a comical punch on his face, like way like close up of him just like into the camera before he gets sucked out.
And then he gets hit by an ambulance, which, I'll give the writer credit. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty ironic.
But, I mean, corny, like, how many times have we seen, like, someone, like, fall on the road and then look up and freeze and, like, the light gets brighter, then they get hit.
Yeah.
Awesome to see him get creamed by that fire truck, nonetheless.
Well, okay, that's the one thing is you're right. Like, it had the archetypical structure, like, edit, where he looks up, then we get the side profile, his body gets hit, like, outright. But the best part of that scene is then they just, like, they triple down, and they have, like, a under-car cam where you just see his body just getting ran over gratuitously. Yeah. Oh, man. This movie is dog shit.
All right. I got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
Do you think this movie is better than Wolfman?
I would watch this movie again.
I think I would, too.
I don't think I would watch Wolfman again.
I would not watch Wolfman again.
I would watch scenes from Wolfman, specifically, like, the spider scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because I genuinely think that was, like, a really well done, well written, well just executed scene in Wolfman.
Yeah, that was sick.
This movie was just bad enough that I can get drunk and watch it with friends. I would watch it on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
I would turn this movie, Flight Risk, into a drinking game. How many times will Mark Wahlberg say, like, here's the fun part? or like, we're going to have some fun.
I'm going to like this. I'm going to enjoy this.
How many times does he make a sexual advance towards Topher Grace?
No, Topher Grace and his mom.
Oh, yeah.
Which, it was just like... It was like he was literally a 9-year-old kid, like, making yo mama jokes.
And we never found out if his mom is safe.
You're right.
We never got any sort of conclusive end to whether, like, this is actually over. Yeah. Like, because the big players are still at large. That, our agent's boss is still at large.
You're right. There's no closure
And
in this movie.
And her like friend, her coworker who like got her the job, she died. We never
Yeah.
saw that. Like she was just T-boned by a car.
T-bone, which that moment made me laugh too.
That was so
when
corny.
he's just like explaining how she died. I don't know how it happened, but she got T-boned. It must have been one of the Morettis.
It was like bad acting, intentional bad acting. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened, but she got hit, and I'm sorry, but she's gone.
It's like when you know your dad is lying to your mom about something. I don't know how it happened. I didn't mean to go to that strip club. All of a sudden, $1,000 was taken out of my bank account.
Somebody must have spiked my drink because I was blacked out. I don't remember having sex with any of those strippers.
Which, by the way, that's not my dad.
That's not my dad. That's not my dad either.
But I know somebody's dad is like that.
I don't know if my dad has even seen a stripper.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my time watching this movie. I don't know. I don't know what else to really say about it because it is exactly what you know you're getting yourself into if you've watched the trailer.
Yeah, and it somehow still lets you down.
Yeah.
You know?
It let me down in a good way, though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if it tried any harder, and there is like anything just slightly more redeemable about it, then it would be a film that just makes me sad. But I got out of this, I don't know. I got out of the movie just kind of smiling, you know?
Yeah, and that's a good takeaway.
I don't think Mel Gibson's gonna save Hollywood though. After watching this movie,
No, I don't think so. Hey, maybe he'll get funding for his next bad movie,
maybe.
which we're gonna make a podcast about. So in a way, Trump is indirectly helping us.
His next movie is the sequel to Passion of the Christ. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah, it's called The Resurrection of the Christ.
That's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be interesting. I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's gonna be really weird to see the difference in the two movies because I'm assuming that because he's in a different headspace, the movie's gonna be so different from Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, it might suck in a really embarrassing way.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody knows when you try to make a movie like that, the book is always better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you, Mel Gibson.
Hey, man. I had a good time.
Yeah, I had a great time, dude.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I think we can wrap this up. Next week, we're going to watch Companion. Don't really know much about it. It's kind of mysterious. I know it's produced by the people that produced Barbarian, which was a movie I thoroughly enjoyed. So there's hope, and it looks interesting. So go ahead and catch that next week when we talk about it. Anything you want to say before we leave?
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out. We're on Instagram and YouTube. And yeah, let us know if you want to say anything in the comments about stuff.
Enjoy the rest of your week, folks.
Nighty night.